Thank you for listening to SPN, the Savage Podcasting Network.
The Riverside County Film Commission and the Riverside County Economic Development Agency are proud to sponsor the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema. With a region of over 7,300 square miles, the Riverside County Film Commission works closely with all 28 cities located within its borders, as well as state and federal agencies, to help streamline your production and ensure its success, assisting with everything from permitting in all jurisdictions to finding just the right locations for your shoot and many other production necessities. Riverside County, the perfect fit for your next film production.
Since its opening in 2015, Faro Restaurant has been one of Idlewild's leading restaurants, applauded for both its gracious service and casual take on fine dining. Nestled in the heart of the beautiful alpine village of Idlewild, California, Faro is more than just great food and elegant surroundings. It's a treasure destination not to be missed. Faro Restaurant, an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema. It's Italian, elevated.
Born out of creativity and desire, the Peak Restaurant and Bar at Talkeet's Pines is a must-see experience for anyone visiting the beautiful alpine village of Idlewild, California. Featuring a mix of local and international cuisine, the Peak Restaurant and Bar is the centerpiece of the Talkeet's Resort. Set amid gorgeous mountain surroundings and miles of hiking trails, the Peak is unlike any other eatery around. And as an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, the Peak is home of the event's famous Filmmakers Village every year. The Peak Restaurant at Talkeet's Pines Retreat. Come dine with us.
You're listening to The Stephen Savage Show on the Savage Podcasting Network. And now, here's your host, film and television director, Stephen Savage.
Thank you, Nicole. How's it going, everybody? Savage here with you for yet another episode of The Stephen Savage Show, the official podcast of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, coming to you as usual from Cranium Wheel Studios at Chateau Esteban in the beautiful alpine village of Idlewild, California. Just a couple hours east of Los Angeles, but a world away at nearly 6,000 feet, high atop majestic Mount San Jacinto and overlooking the great Coachella Valley. And just to note, this podcast, as with the Idlewild Cinema Festival itself, is completely non-corporate, and all of our advertisers are specific to Idlewild, California. And one of those Idlewild-specific partners is our official lodging sponsor, Talkeet's Pines Retreat, Idlewild's premier venue for weddings, family reunions, romantic getaways, or just about any large or small gathering or event. So if you're coming to Idlewild for the film festival or at any time during the year, you owe it to yourself to check out the many charming cabins and cottages that make up this amazing mountain venue. Check them out today and book your Idlewild lodging at TalkeetsPines.com. That's TAHQUITZ, TalkeetsPines.com. Okay, so today I thought I'd pull off an episode on the different aspects of working as an actor on both sides of the country, sort of an East Coast versus West Coast comparison, if you will, on how one goes about keeping or building an acting career in film or television, or both, from the perspective of two actors who just happen to live, one in New York City and one in Los Angeles. And as fate would have it, both of these fine people are past winners in one acting category or another at the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema. I'm not sure which years they both won, but we're about to find out. My first guest, zooming in from her home in the Big Apple, is producer and screenwriter, as well as an accomplished actress on both stage and screen, having appeared Off-Broadway and in such iconic television series as, Law and Order, Star Trek, Renegades, and also some of the best indie films of the past decade. She's not only won a Best Actress trophy at Idlewild, but was also the recipient of the prestigious Anita Gavin Award for Best Actress at the Staten Island International Film Festival, and as If that weren't enough of a resume, she holds a medical degree, is an energetic advocate for veterans' rights, and is a former cover girl from Maxim magazine. So without further ado, let me welcome into the podcast the amazing Ms. Janel Tanna. Janel, happy to have you on, my friend.
Hi, Stephen. Happy to be here. Thank you for the very too kind introduction.
Oh, no, I'm never that kind. Yeah, just the facts, young lady. Just to clear it up, what was the year and the name of the film for which you won Best Actress at Idlewild?
So there's a couple of films that I've been involved with that have gone to Idlewild and got various nominations and awards. And I just want to give Idlewild International Film Festival a plug because it's one of my favorite film festivals that I've ever been to.
Nice.
I think it's really wonderful. It really fosters community and actors and filmmakers. It's a very beautiful and peaceful town.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great because it's like a getaway from the hustle and bustle, but at the same time, it's bustling with artists, filmmakers. So I absolutely love it. So if anyone, ever wants to go with or without a film, or you have a film, submit it. But yes, that being said, I was there with Sienna's Choice first. So that was, I think that 2017. I might get my years wrong as well. I'd have to go back to IMDb.
Oh, yeah.
But so I was there with Sienna's Choice for acting. Yeah. And I believe I had a Best Actress nomination. I believe feature is a very weird time because that was the first film that I produced in one of my early acting performances. But I was with an amazing team, and it was kind of at the 50-minute mark or somewhere on there. So it's in between a featurette and a feature, not quite as short, which was my very original intention.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so I got a Best Actress nomination, and then we also got Best Ensemble Cast nomination, I believe. And then we got, I want to say a writing award for myself, Alyssa, and Asustina, Susie, she goes by, I think. and then there were, I want to say Julia might have been nominated for an acting award, as well as David in that film. But again, I'd have to go back and look because we've been to a lot of festivals. And then, and Linda probably for directing, Linda Palmer. And then we were back with, I'm not sure if Turnover was in Idlewild. I think it might have been, but I had a small role in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great, really, really fun, friendly film, which I happen to also be a producer on. Excuse me. I'm not sure the year. And then I was there for Intervention, which was also, all three were directed by Linda Palmer. She's wonderful. And then Intervention was a short about really about mental health issues, addiction, people suffering with addiction, and then also dealing with depression, suicide, family trauma. And that, I did not create that film, but I was cast by Julia, who played my mom in Sienna's Choice. So, she brought me on there. And then that film, I'm pretty sure I won Best Actress in a short film. Okay. I want to say, and we got an Indie Spirit Award for the film. And then I also at some point got a Mary Austin Excellence in Acting Award.
So Idlewild's been pretty good to you.
Yes, Idlewild has been amazing. And the Christoph, in honor of Christoph's his award as well. So Idlewild has been great to me. I mean, you guys are wonderful. I have really great memories also, like very happy memories from being at the festival and just hanging out, things like that. So, and I've made really good friends from the festival throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think those are probably the three films. I could be missing something, but again, I'd have to go back and look at IMDb.
So 3 years basically is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's great. 3 years out of our 18, you were there with films. That's pretty, and that says a lot for our festival. I'm happy to to talk about that for a second, because we do have a lot of filmmakers who bring their films to Idlewild and then come back in the next 2-3 years, whatever it is, with other films that they've made. And that's always nice to have that kind of return filmmaker thing. And you're one of those. You've been in a lot of stuff at Idlewild.
Yeah, and I can't wait to make something and get back. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Let's kind of start off with some background on Janel Tanna. It's just something I like to do in my podcast, just allow my listeners to know a little bit about the guest. And if you don't mind, just give us a little bit of your story, your journey. Where'd you grow up, your schooling, family, and tell us what came first, becoming a doctor or acting?
So I would say I was born an actress. I would say that, like, I'm from Buffalo, New York. And I would say as a child, I always had a very vivid imagination, but also my next door neighbors who were very close to us, that was back in the day of people had camcorders, which I actually just bought a camcorder. So
did you?
Yeah, I did, because I wanted to do self tapes. I want to figure it out. But we would always like create films. I'd always want to be the lead actress. I always and I just had a big imagination, but in a place where I could actually believe it and just live it out. And then, I didn't formally start acting, although let me rewind, because there was a point in time where I did some monologue and I got picked to come to New York City with an acting group. But honestly, at the time, I couldn't get the money for it. So, I wasn't able to go. And so I'm an empath. So I feel like I can feel what other people are feeling, usually pretty easy, almost in a heightened state. And I've always cared about people and wanted to take care of patients also. But now later in my life, I see how for me, everybody's different. But for me, they're all one and the same. It kind of all goes together. So, yes, I went to medical school in Buffalo. And, I worked really hard. I started my training in neurosurgery. So I did 3 years of neurosurgery. I mean, if you want to count sub-Is when you're a medical student, I did several of those where you live in, you go to different programs around the country and you sort of see what it's like to be in their program and you stay there for the month and everything else. And while I was in neurosurgery, which was pretty intense, so we didn't get a lot of time off. We might start working at 4:00 in the morning, whatever. And, you'd take calls, full 24, really 30 hours. But when I did have time off, I started going to a community theater, maybe 20 or 30 minutes outside of where I was. And I was taking classes and, I just loved it. And I noticed that whenever I would look up actors I liked about their process, it always brought me back to a bit of method acting sense memory, this is how they prepared, or,
right.
And yeah, so then long story short, I was going to switch specialties. I came to New York City because I always wanted to live in New York City before med school, since high school, basically. And I kind of had this daydream I was going to live in New York City. And a lot of my friends in college lived either in the city or around. So I've been back and forth a bunch of times. And then I, on a whim, just applied to the Lee Strasberg Institute. I think I had one of my friends from college write me a letter about, which is true, we would make skits and routines for recruitment and stuff like that. So I went in for my interview and they accepted me the next day. And I really needed a break because, like I said, the neurosurgery experience was very intense. And it turned into, once I was in drama school, I never felt more alive. I felt like that was exactly where I was supposed to be. So I was at the Lee Strasberg Institute, and then my second year, I also started training at the neighborhood playhouse because I also wanted to learn Meisner, which I had a great experience also. I would say, to me, everybody will say they're completely different, but to me, they're very similar, but just different definitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I trained at Strasberg for a bit. I trained at with Jim at the neighborhood playhouse, and then I would if I had a character. Still, if I have a character or something, there's someone specific I will go to just talk about the character. I don't run lines. I don't, I just talk about like what their life was, backstory, things like that. And at the same time, I had a few stories I wanted to tell. So I auditioned and got cast in indie film. I started to create my own film, and then I joined a theater company, a theater group first, an off-Broadway theater group that I auditioned for, and we would put up stuff. They had stuff going on like every month, like original plays, full lengths, what have you. And I always say, like, I personally, to me, there's no, like, people are like, oh, a theater actor, a film actor. To me, there's just an actor. It's the truth, like finding the truth of your character. Yes, they're different mediums, but the feeling or the preparation is the same. But I would say that my acting always grows when I do a theater performance. So I did I probably did like 15 different productions with them over the years. And then, what have you, I was acting in New York City. I joined SAG-AFTRA in 2016. Part of me always wanted to, like, I had in the back of my mind, like, going back to medicine some way, also dealing with the brain. And then a friend of mine, told me about his program. I actually got accepted to a different program the year before, but I wasn't quite ready to go back to medicine. And so the following year I ended up going. I loved my program. And lo and behold, the pandemic hit. So people always ask if I left New York City for a few years for the pandemic. The answer is no. I left to complete psychiatry training, but the pandemic just happened to hit. So, I was doing psychiatry. It was the pandemic, for acting, I was keeping fresh, staying, like, doing virtual classes with Jim. He would do scene study online from the Playhouse that I took the 2-year Meisner with.
Mm-hmm.
And, people's film festivals transitioned online also. So we did a couple of those, which was interesting. And then I came back to New York City. In terms of acting, last year was my first, I was a lead off-Broadway. It was a 90-minute original piece. I Made It to the Moon by Karen Campion, and K.M. Jones was the director. And that was a great experience. I mean, it was intense, start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I was on stage the whole time, which, but once you get into it, I'm just thinking right now from an actor's perspective. And then I finally, I made it a point. I really wanted to, I've been wanting to book Law and Order for a long time. I think my first audition was before the pandemic, right in person with Jonathan Strauss at Chelsea Piers. And then over the years, I had several auditions. And then, they went to self-tape and everything. And then finally, I booked it in December and it aired in January. And it was like life came full circle.
See, everyone, perseverance. Janelle didn't give up. She kept auditioning and finally landed it. That's great. Finally,
I think it was like 7 or 8 auditions with them over the years. Yeah. And it's
but those casting directors kept bringing you back. That says something for you.
Yeah, I think it's, it's so funny because everyone says that, and like, you're a human being, so you get discouraged sometimes, like, obviously you have up days and down days, but I was like, I don't know, something came over my mind, and like, I do manifestation a lot. If you look at my journals, like from last year, they all say, I will book Law and Order, universe deliver me Law and Order. My literal password, which is now changed for certain things, was Law and Order booking. Wow. No, I'm not kidding you. And so I was very hyper focused and putting it in my mind, like I would see it. And then, and it's funny because when we filmed, I have a lot of friends who've done the show, and a lot of people film off-site, they'll have their trailers, they're filming off-site. Well, I filmed right back at Chelsea Piers. My fitting was there, and then my filming, the same location I went for my very first audition.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a nice experience. And then in February, I actually booked a show in Atlanta. And I went down there. They were wonderful. I had the best time. I mean, it was great. I had a good time with the other girls that were acting. And then I was there for like a couple of days. And then my agent called me a few days later and was like, can you do 2 more episodes? I was like, really? Wow. So then I, was on set, and I was like, so February, I was on set a bit. And, I was like looking around the studio being like, okay, I'm living in the moment, just like taking it all in. And then, so like March has been just, catching up on, getting my head above water and a few things in my other work. And like, I have a few pieces that I'm creating in the works, and then, just acting and like trying to figure out, okay, what's next? I had a few goal auditions over the last couple weeks, so I'm just going to keep, manifesting, keep working hard. I got accepted to do an intensive with a drama school that I really kind of put on my list also, which is RADA. So I'm thinking about doing an intensive with them, and just, I'm always working to, grow my craft. And, because even though I was born an actor, I feel like I became a professional actor a little later in the game. So, I feel like I need to always be working on something. And that could be anything. Like even in my other life, I won't say other, but I'm a psychiatrist. I'm always listening to people and taking in their stories and like, empathizing with them. And
you're just amazing. I'm listening to you and I'm just going, first of all, you've got the coolest day job of any actor I know. I mean, to do what you do, you spend a lot of time working with prisoners, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
So I work with the incarcerated population, and a couple days a week. And I won't say where, but yes, I love what I do. I love helping people.
But that's what I want to go. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want people to miss out on that. You're always dealing with causes that trying to help people who have problems in life, or returning veterans who, things like that. It's like you can keep track. You can keep an acting career going, which you obviously are, but also you find the time to, your profession to really help people. And I don't get you, man. I don't know what planet you come from, but it's pretty amazing.
Oh, well, I feel like I've finally gotten to a point. So it took a long time to be able to, look, I did 2 residencies, 3 neurosurgery, psychiatry, which psychiatry I got credit for because I had done neurosurgery. So,
right.
But, when you're a resident, it's really hard. Like you're working 100 hours, like you're just, it's a lot of commitment. And, it took time to be able, and I had this vision for myself, really. I had this vision where I would be able to work as a psychiatrist, a couple days a week, and then also be focusing on my acting career as well. Now, will there be a point, of course, a point maybe, where I have to step back or, possibly. But at this point in my time, and the way I also look at it is, a couple of my acting mentors or teachers throughout time, and like I listen to a lot of acting podcasts, and like, what's for you. So I kind of have double speak on this because it's like, what's for you won't miss you. So like, I told myself, look, I'm a human being. So some days, just like anybody, if they're working as, any other job, making ends meet, you're divvying up your time. But at the same time, like I told myself, like, you're living out your life, and the roles for me are gonna be mine. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So like that, but you also have to go after what you want. And I also think what I'm really trying to say is your life, like I'm an artist and a psychiatrist, but everybody has their own story. My life informs my art. So for me, I maybe like a couple months ago, I was in an acting workshop with someone that I had worked with throughout the years, various stages. And we had a scene. She's like, you're just you're like such a good listener. Like, that's such a good skill for acting. Like, I see you so present. I'm like, and I thought about it. I was like, I truly believe, my work as a psychiatrist makes my work as an actor even more in depth for me, So like everybody, but whatever anybody else is doing is going to inform their work in their way. And the roles for them are going to be for their persona. You live out many different personas when you're acting, but you know what I mean? Like where their life has brought them to. So I think for me, right now, acting and psychiatry go hand in hand. Like they're not really, yes, the daily tasks are different, but they're very similar. I mean, it's human behavior and how you feel it. And it's just what I do with it is a bit different, obviously. But I feel it, I explore it with my characters, I explore with the patient, what happened to them, when it's a character, it's like what happened to me to be this character, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. Do we all have, of course, there's days where I'm like, I wish I could, go back in time and,
right.
Go right to XYZ drama school out of high school. Yeah, we all have that thought. Not all. I can't say all because I'm sure there's people that don't have that thought. But I do have that thought, of course, that comes up. So, but yeah, just my story, like, I didn't necessarily, I didn't have the family that was going to drive me to LA to like go to auditions when I was a kid. You see what I'm saying? So like everybody has a different story.
Well, I think you're pretty exceptional, and I know I'm sure I'm not the only person who's told you that lately or in your life. But yeah, just that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, though. It's your perseverance has been something I've paid attention to. You put your head down and just batter those walls, But at the same time, you keep your humanitarian side alive, and yeah, I find it real interesting. And you've seen the acting world on both coasts now. What do you think it is that keeps you in New York as opposed to finally making a move to Los Angeles? And it's probably a good time not to go to Los Angeles because everyone's leaving now. I know so many actors and directors and writers who've moved out of Los Angeles in the last 3 or 4 years. But moving to LA just seems to be one of those things where actors feel they really have to do it. But you've stuck to your New York East Coast thing. So what do you think keeps you there?
I think that's a good question. The thought has crossed my mind. Let's say before the pandemic, I considered LA like a second home because several of the indie films that I shot were filmed in LA, and I'd be out there a lot. And I really liked it out there. I mean, I associate things with memories, so it has like specific happy memories for me. It's a nice change of pace. Obviously, the weather. I'm a daydreamer, so I'll go down like Hollywood Boulevard. I'll do this is another manifestation. I am a big believer in this, but I remember when I first started acting, I came and I did a tour of the Chinese theater, and I'm like, one of my films is going to screen here. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, one of our films screened there. And I was like, that's so weird. And I have a picture from the day.
That's great.
Yeah. I think there was a time many years ago when a manager actually wanted to take me on. My boyfriend at the time, I don't know why, like people that are not in the industry don't understand. Like he looked at the contract, he was like, oh, this, that, and, looking back, maybe I should have won it. But at the same, because I have had people over the years, I have friends who are consistently working actors that are like, this was a couple years, you should come to LA. Like my career really took off when I came to LA. And I've thought about it. I think with New York, well, right now my other work is here. That doesn't mean I can never change it. But I have 2 fur babies. I like the theater scene. I've made headway with casting directors, meaning like, I've met casting directors over the years over and over and over. And then finally I'll get, like I got an audition 2 weeks ago for something, a really good network series that I've been really wanting to get on. And I had met that casting director a couple times and actually auditioned for an indie film they were doing, not, like a year before. And, I think just the thought of the move, but I wouldn't throw it out completely. I would always consider it. But it's just ties to my medical career, ties to my fur babies are here, ties to the casting directors. A lot of the casting directors that I made relationships with are here. Yeah, I think that's the answer for now. I think the pandemic really, so who knows what have happened, to be honest with you, had the pandemic never happened and this and that. Mm-hmm. I feel like, it's interesting. It feels like the pandemic was a lifetime ago, but then it also feels like yesterday. So I feel like the pandemic changed a lot of things, put a lot of things on pause. And then now you can self-tape, which is pluses and minuses. I like being in the room. I like just focusing on my acting, but it's open to convenience. Mm-hmm. So you can be, even if you live somewhere, you can be. I remember when I was at Cannes Film Festival 2 years ago, I got 2 auditions. I did them in my room at Cannes.
Welcome to the world of New Spirit Vacation Homes, Idlewild's premier vacation home rental provider. Whether it be an escape from the heat, a visit to the snow, or for the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, we have the perfect vacation rental for you. New Spirit Vacation Homes is distinctive from any other vacation rental company, not only because our guests have the broadest choice of luxurious homes to choose from, but also because we ensure guests' expectations are met and they have the most enjoyable and fulfilling getaway. New Spirit Vacation Rentals, an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Film Festival. Find us at newspiritvacationhomes.com.
Every small town has that one special spot, a place where strangers become friends and friends share great times together. Idlewild, California has just that spot, Terrence Place Pub and Gallery, where live music and good company create amazing memories. We feature fine wines along with international and domestic tap beers. Our vibe is welcoming, fun, and eclectic. Terrence Place Pub and Gallery is proud to be an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema. Come and experience the alpine charm of Terrence Place, located in a village lane in downtown Idlewild, California. We invite you to stop by and have a great time.
Have you heard about the Art Alliance of Idlewild? Our mission is to create community through art. This year's calendar of events to support that mission is May 30th, Summer Kickoff, July 18th, Home Studios Tour, August 8th, Plein Air Festival, September 5th, Here and Now, October 10th, Art Walk and Wine Tasting, December 4th, Art Cake Giveaway, December 5th, Winter Solstice Show. Visit artinidlewild.org and follow us on Instagram at Art Alliance of Idlewild for details.
Let us introduce you to Idlewild's premier boutique inn, Harvey House, an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, featuring premium amenities and luxurious accommodations amidst the backdrop of the majestic San Jacinto Mountains. Situated on the banks of tranquil Strawberry Creek, Harvey House offers our guests perfectly appointed accommodations in which to relax, unwind, and enjoy yourself in privacy and style. Our professionally designed property lends an atmosphere of comfort and repose unmatched just about anywhere, making your stay most memorable indeed. Harvey House, Idlewild, California. Find us at harveyhouseid.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's...
I put a photo. Huh?
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I think Adrian Brody had one of his movies down there. So he was on, Cannes, when you go to the festival, they do variety, the magazines do dailies and the really well-known actors will have I've seen a lot of the Oscar films or the front runners. A lot of them I see are for the first time at Cannes, just for people that don't that's a festival where a lot of those get their premiere, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I remember I had this audition where I was talking to my husband, and Adrian Brody's photo was everywhere, so I just took his photo and taped it to the wall. used him as my husband.
So you were doing your taped audition looking at that picture as if that were the person reading with you. That's a good idea. I like that.
Exactly. And I just taped both lines, my lines and his lines.
That's great. That's awesome. You audition a lot. It seems you're always heading to an audition somewhere. Is it your representative, your agent that keeps you out so much, or do you book a lot of your own? And also, let's get back into that live audio versus taped audition process, which is best in your opinion now that you've been doing the taped auditions for a while. You said you like being in the room, but as far as convenience and getting your face out there, I know as a director, taped auditions have. I was a little wonky on them at first, but they've allowed my producers and I a much bigger scope regarding getting our eyes on more directors from around the world, really. But I just booked an actress from Ireland off of a taped audition, and I went, wow, that's interesting. I probably wouldn't even know she existed had it not been for the ability to audition, because she's not living in the States right now. She's legal to work here, but she doesn't live here. But eventually you do have to see someone in person to make the right casting decision. So when you get close, sometimes you have to buy the bullet and pay for an airplane ticket just to get somebody in the room with you. So but long story short here, I rambled on a little bit, but what do you prefer now that you've been doing the taped auditions, and is being in the room still the best for you as far as how you can represent yourself?
Yeah, I want to first say thanks for your perspective, because it's interesting to hear from the director's perspective, because I'm an actor. So I mean, even though I produce some films, that's not my full, it's, you're a working director, you do it all the time. It's your career. But I would say for me, nothing beats being in the room. Like, I remember post-pandemic, there was I think it was a theater audition I went to, and it felt so good. The energy. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze.
Go ahead.
Never mind.
We'll let you.
It didn't come out. So the energy of being back in the room, because for me, I'm a very energetic person. It's so much easier to feel the energy off the other person than in a Zoom or on a wall when there's no other actors. So I think that, yes. So self-tapes have opened up opportunity and convenience. I think that, but I personally love being in the room, like, because as an actor, I'll tell you, I want to focus on the character. I want to focus on, that character, being in the moment, what I need to do. So if I would get an in-person audition, it's like you get the sides. Okay, this is the time you're going. I don't have to think about anything else. Yes, I'll think about what I'm wearing, but really, what's the character? And however the actor does in that process, going in, letting it go, walking out. Whereas the self-tape, okay, I get an audition. Okay. Is one of my people that can put me on tape available? Nope. Okay. Are they available when I'm not working, when I'm this, when I'm that? Okay. I got to put it on self-tape. Oh, shoot. Okay. Who can read for me? Oh, my mom. She's not bad, by the way, but she's not an actor, but I've done a lot of auditions with her.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Like, I think she could have been an actor, to be honest with you. But I'm like, okay, is she going to read? Because sometimes people that aren't actors will get frustrated, like, oh, you're after one take, okay, now how do I set up my camera? Oh, shoot. Okay, I have my camera set up, my lighting. Oh, I got to put it up on a box. Oh, now my cat is jumping into the screen. Oh, I don't have a reader. Okay, let me tape up a picture of someone on a wall and tape my lines and then their lines. And oh no, in between each, I got to press the button, and then after the audition, it's like, now there's been times where I've done the audition. Oh gosh, the upload, or they want the slate spliced in, after the audition.
Right.
Yeah. And the upload will fail. And I'm going, oh my gosh. And like, I don't know if casting directors know this, because I actually was able to get a hold of one that thanked me and let me hand it in an email. You can't actually communicate with them until you click submit.
Right.
So there's no way to be like, hey, I'm having trouble with, unless they give their email, which some of them have started to do, which is great. So those are the reasons I don't like self-tape. And I feel like for me, and I've had some great self-tapes, some I watch them, I'm like, yeah. I'm never as fully in it in a self-tape
Sure.
as I am in person or on set, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I get it. And you have to compensate as a director when you're looking at self-tapes. I've learned how to compensate for the fact that this person's standing in front of their iPhone or a little, camera, and
right.
And so I compensate for that, and I try to pull moments out of that where, for somebody who's just in the room with their next door neighbor reading lines with them, they're doing a really good job. And sometimes that actually makes you as a director, I can see more of the dedication to it and the real drive to get the character down, which I appreciate. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So like I appreciate self-tapes. I'm happy when I get one. But yeah, it's
I don't think it's going back. So, it's just it's easier.
Oh, and to answer, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
And to answer your questions, it's funny with a lot of it. There's periods where I'm like, I'm not getting any auditions. I'm like wondering what I'm doing wrong, and then there'll be periods when I get more auditions. It's a combination of, I have an agent who is lovely. I really, really like her. And it's also I hustle a lot on my own, meaning like I meet casting directors, meet like people. We create genuine relationships and genuine contacts, and also like navigating, like for example, my hometown of Buffalo, they built a brand new studio like the last 2 years, and they know I'm from Buffalo, so I can very easily be a local hire because a lot of my family, my mom's there, everybody's there. I've gotten a lot of auditions through them. So I'll just see what the auditions going on with them, and I'll self-submit. I self-submit a lot, like to them, and I'll, I constantly, like, for example, my 2 bookings, bam, January, February, and I got an acting nomination for my theater performance. I will email, maybe they think I'm annoying, but if you don't ask, the answer is no. So I will send casting. Now, I don't reach out to them for no reason or like, whatever, if I don't know it, like, but I will send legitimate updates. Like, hi, I was in Law and Order that aired January 9th. I booked another show, CBS in February that I filmed, XYZ. This is what I'm doing. Please keep me in mind, I typically read XYZ 30s and 40s, I'm SAG-AFTRA, strong range, and I'll put in I'll put a clip, or like multiple clips, something like that.
Right.
So that's what I do.
It's interesting because we talk about the differences between, having an acting career while living in New York and how that's different in LA, but it really is, the differences are negligible. It's not that big a deal, but it does seem to me like, I don't know, your daily life as an actor and what you go through does have some differences. I think mostly it's like, well, you were talking about casting directors and building relationships, and a lot of people say, well, the casting directors in LA, they're working more, or they're doing this or that, which allows the actors to have more access to them or whatever. But it doesn't sound to me like you've ever had that experience. You've built your own relationships, and as you said, the reason you stay in New York is because once you establish yourself somewhere, it's kind of dumb to just uproot. It would almost sound like it seemed like you're starting from scratch. So I get that. How important is it to keep up with your studies as an actor? And who are you studying with at the moment? Are you with anybody in particular, or how are you working that?
Yeah, so I'm always, I do take little pauses after I film. Well, obviously when I'm done filming, but I'm always studying or looking to study. So like all last year I was studying. I did a lot of studying. So I was, I do audition technique with James and James Ciccone, and he has a lot of working actors. He has all levels, and it's a low pressure class because they'll assign you a scene from a network show that's already premiered, and then you you do it for class. And then I was in a core method class. So I trained several years at Lee Strasberg Institute. I was doing a once a week method class. And then I started working my other job on Saturdays. So then I did, I was doing twice a week on Zoom in addition, with Anthony Abison, who's great. I had done private lessons with him years ago. So for several months, and they kind of do them with drop-in. So you can do like 4 weeks at a time for when something comes up. So I was doing Mondays and Tuesdays with him. And then I did I think it was like a 40-hour acting intensive with Giles Foreman. He does the YAT technique, which is a lot of, in my opinion, and everybody has their own take, but it was, it's method with more like, a lot more character work. So really the psychology in you, but the separate psychology, movement, gestures of the character. It's really expanding. It's really, really gets into your range. And then I did that. Like I said, I did, with an acting coach that I've done stuff with before. I did her intensive. And then I probably going to do an intensive with Rada. So I, will train with their intensive.
But it's important. It's important to you to be studying all the time. Yeah,
of course, because I always want to, honestly, I feel down when I'm not acting. So like the last couple of weeks, I wasn't in, to be fair, I did do a class. I did a casting director thing, but I'm like, I need to be in person. I need to be, but I've only taken a couple of weeks off, and I'm like, I need to be acting. I feel so much better.
I've heard actors say that it's like working out. So once you get into the routine of working out every day, in the gym or whatever, then when you lay off for a bit, it feels weird. Your day's not the same.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get it out of your system, and then you feel like you're not growing your craft, and you always want to be growing your craft. Always.
Sure. So what's on the horizon for you? What projects are you working on now? Are you set to film anything in the near future, or what's happening with you?
Oh, actually, yeah. So I have a role in a crime drama. Jamal Green is the director. It's supposed to be filming in May. So that will be filming. I don't have the exact dates on that. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. And then I just, like I said, I have a few projects of my own that have been in the works that I really need to hustle on, but I have a couple shorts and a feature. But looking forward to the one in May. And then I've just been auditioning, like I said, the last couple weeks. I've had some really juicy shows that I would really love to be a part of. So I look at my career the way I want it to go. I know there's no there's no exact formula for anybody, but for me, I really want to book several more networks and also continue to do film and like indie film movies, and theater also. So like I've been really hustling the last couple of weeks with auditions, and then looking forward to filming in May, and then looking forward to getting in some classes, and hopefully I book something here.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing. I'm glad I finally got you on the podcast. And your schedule's so hectic that it was kind of tough to nail you down, but you took the time out for me. I had to call you earlier than I ever do podcasts, but because you're on the East Coast and because I wanted you on so bad, it's worth it to me to get up a little earlier and get into the studio. But before I let you go, how can my listeners keep up with you? Just if anybody wants to keep track of your career, is the best place to? Is it a website or is it social media? Instagram.
I would say Instagram is my acting hub. At Janel Tanna, Janel Tanna. That's the best place to keep up with acting and stuff like that. My IMDb. I have Facebook, but it's, I'd say I'm more active on in terms of posting acting things and such, it would probably be Instagram.
Facebook is Facebook seems to be nowadays where my aunt goes to check things. I don't know anyone. I'm never on there anymore. And I have people who work for me who keep a track of my social. Go, you need to go onto Facebook. You got some messages. I'm going, oh, great.
Yeah, I do Facebook sometimes, but it's more like, is it purely acting or also like some model. I do modeling, but I don't do that full time. But I do some. Mm-hmm. But mostly with my acting, you can Instagram is the best way, and
it's great.
I take my time, but I'll usually reply if someone has a question about acting or something. I'll get to it, and I appreciate people reaching out that are in the profession or want to be acting or are acting or anything else. So
right, it's funny because as an actor, it's so important for you. I'm off social media completely and have been for a few years. I just I use the Idlewild Film Festival social media.
Yeah.
I go on there a lot just to check things out and to see what's happening. But I mean, my own personal social media. But for an actor, it's just so important. So, at Janel Tanna, that's where everybody needs to go to check out what the heck you're doing, and you're doing a lot. So good for you. All right.
Trying to do a lot. Yeah.
You're not trying. You're doing a lot. All right, well, there you go. I want to thank the lovely Janel Tanna for Zooming in today. I've been a big fan of hers for quite a few years since I first saw one of her first movies in Idlewild, and I'm glad I was finally able to get her to clear some time from her busy schedule and come on today. So thanks so much, Janel. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. And it's a work in progress. My career, it's still it's always a work in progress. Always like life. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And we'll be back with our next guest right after these messages.
Woodland Park Manor, one of Idlewild, California's best-known and beloved lodging destinations, is a rustic treat for the casual overnighter or vacation traveller. With its many unique rooms and cottages and that special hideaway feel, Woodland Park Manor gives new meaning to the word relaxation. Nestled among the tall pines and centuries-old oak trees, the manor says Idlewild the moment you enter the property. As a sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema since year one, all festival attendees are treated like family, because that's what you are to the proprietors. Woodland Park Manor, Idlewild, California. Book your room now and tell them you're coming for the festival. You will love it.
At Pure Bean Coffee, Idlewild, California's premier boutique coffee house, our passion is roasting the highest quality coffee for the most discerning coffee lovers. Our beans are ethically sourced and hand-selected from the world's finest coffee regions. You will notice the enhanced flavor nuances and low acidity with your very first taste. And as a proud sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, it's our wish to make the best impression possible on filmmakers and attendees from around the globe. So whether it's your first cup in the morning, a midday pick-me-up, or an evening taste of excellence to top off your day, always remember, we at Pure Bean love coffee as much as our customers do.
Looking for great Mexican cuisine in Idlewild, California? Look no further than La Casita, Idlewild's #1 spot for authentic Mexican fare. Serving up both traditional and north-of-the-border specialties. La Casita is also famous for its great beer and wine selection, and the best margaritas to be found anywhere. La Casita, an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Film Festival, and simply the best Mexican food around.
Idlewild, California is known for its many quaint shops, but none is more quaint or special than Shala Tea Company in downtown Idlewild. With a wide variety of regional, international, and exotic blends to choose from, Shala is more than just a tea shop. It's an experience for the soul. As an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, Shala Tea Company offers a discount for all festival badge holders. And what film festival journey would be complete without just the right tea bag in your travel cup? Shala Tea Company, Idlewild, California. Experience it.
All right, and we are back. My next guest is a producer, screenwriter, and actor, and someone I've known for quite a few years now, and I'm very proud to call him my friend. He has an extensive career in both television and film, appearing in popular series like Seinfeld, The Drew Carey Show, if I remember correctly, Bones, and a big turn on The Parenthood, to name but a few. But his many roles in some of the best indie films of the past couple of decades is what really fascinates me about this man. He's also a past winner at the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, and I'm going to ask him to refresh my memory as to what films and what years he's had films in Idlewild, and to name the awards that he's won for us, because my brain doesn't work that well. So let me bring on, zooming in from his home in the greater Los Angeles area, Mr. Kelly Perine. Now,
well,
Kelly,
what's up, everybody who's listening, Idlewild people? Man, it is such an honor to be on here with you. As you said, you and I have been friends for a good long time.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because you run a fantastic festival. Also, I used to, just a real quick I used to be a camp counselor up in Idlewild School of Music and Arts. It was called Isamata.
Yeah, you did tell me that once. I remember.
Yeah, and so I have a very intimate and passionate love for Idlewild. So when, I started doing my own independent and short films, and I got into the Idlewild Film Festival, I went out of my mind. And the beauty is that I've been back and forth, for your festival, which gives me a chance to get back to Idlewild here for the past 10 plus years. And it has just been fantastic.
It's amazing you say that connection is so. Do you remember, did you ever meet my friend Christophe St. John, who was, he was on our board of directors for a while? But
you know what? I've been here, and I'll tell my story a little more, in Hollywood for 32 years now. So
Right.
I have had a chance to meet Christophe. Fantastic guy, just tragedy about his passing. And so, you know what? Hollywood is a very, very, very small town once you start getting around a lot of the folks who are journeymen or people that have been here for a long time. So I had the, pleasure of meeting him once or twice.
Yeah, and he and I'd spend every summer in Idlewild with my uncle, and Christophe and I, he was coming up for the summers to do basically the same thing as you. He had his dad was doing classes out at Isamata, out at the Arts Academy in Idlewild, and kind of the same sort of thing. And then he and I lost touch, and then we got just kind of reconnected years later, and very much a tragedy. But the fact is that your story with Idlewild and that connection is just, to me, is pretty amazing. And
it's the thing about it is it's only 2 hours outside of Los Angeles,
right?
And it is a different world. And if people are looking for a way to kind of clear their head, because Los Angeles can be cluttered and loud and messy and all, and you get up to Idlewild and you hear birds chirping.
That's right.
And you can kind of relax. And, Idlewild is a place where I find my shoulders drop, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, perfect sense.
I come up there and I go, you know what? I don't have to try to, fight agents, fight managers, fight actors, fight people who are desperate to make it. I can just go up there for about 2 or 3 days, relax, do a little bit of writing, play my ukulele, which I'm terrible at, but I enjoy and love. So Idlewild is an escape for me. And then when I come up for the festival, it's just a beautiful blend of escape and just some of the best filmmaking, I've seen. And I've traveled the world with these short films and filming and doing all that. So it's a very special and magical place. So if anybody listening has not gone there, please do yourself a favor and get up there.
Yeah, that's a great plug. Thank you. It seems like you and I have known each other forever. And first of all, let's get to the pronunciation of your last name, because I want people to know. Now, I could be wrong, but all these years you've allowed me to call you Kelly Perine. And
it's Perine, P-E-R-I, Kelly Perine.
Yeah,
there's also a couple of P-E-R-I-N-Es in the NFL, and they call them P-Rines. And they're from the South. And so, I'm from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania, originally born in State College, Pennsylvania, where I started doing theater with my dad when I was, 4 and 5. And Yes, we are Perines, and it's all good. I say, as long as the check clears, I don't care how you pronounce it.
Yes, but as the respect I have for you as an actor and a filmmaker, I'm going to make sure that from now on, ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Perine is here on the podcast.
How about that? Is that my brother? Who is that? Is me Perine? Oh, yeah, I guess that's me.
You're such a nice guy. You've let me butcher your name. Well, I call you by your first name. I don't call you by your last
exactly.
name.
We're friends like that. It's
Yeah.
not Mr. Savage or Mr. P. Ryan Perine. It doesn't matter. It's Kelly.
Yeah, your history with Idlewild, though, is awesome. But with the film festival, it's even more awesome for me because I met you through the film festival very early on. So what years and what films and more importantly, what awards have you won at Idlewild? And I know it's been more than 1 year of you being up here, of course, because
it's everything from, I think the first year I was there with a film called A Perfect Day that I produced and starred in. My friend Adam Rubin wrote and directed, and I know he won best writer for his screenwriting for Perfect Day.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we've done A Perfect Day. He won for that. I believe I may have won for Best Short. Then we were up there with Candace. We were up there with Reservations for Three, my great friend and writing partner, Leanne Melissa Bishop.
Oh, yeah, Leanne. I like her.
Yeah, so we were up there with that, and I think we won something there. Then we were back up there with Is You Is, which I remember we won Best Ensemble, and that's actually, to me, one of the best awards that we've gotten, because it means that everybody and I co-directed that and started with people. It means that everybody got some recognition, and I'm a big believer in the collaborative strength of filmmaking. And so when we got that award, it really kind of touched my heart. And it's a special because we came down from Idlewild after winning that award, and the world shut down with the pandemic. So Is You Is has a very special place. And then when the world opened back up, we went back up the hill with a film called Day 474 and the Lingerings Thereafter. And we were lucky enough to win, one of the best short or the featurettes award. And I was lucky enough to win Best Actor in a featurette. And so,
that made me happy.
I have nothing but fond memories of the festival.
That made me happy, not just to see you win in general, but because that film, pretty phenomenal, and your performance was amazing. And who was the cinematographer on that? I have to ask, because it was a beautifully shot film.
Yeah, well, the cinematographer is a guy named Bry Thomas Sanders. And the crazy story about Bry Thomas Sanders, is we met on the first day of college. We went to Pomona College, and we met on day one. So I met him, in 1987 on the first day of Pomona College, and we have been friends ever since. After Pomona, he went to USC and got his cinematography degree. I went to UC Irvine and got my master's in drama, and we have been, working together. We also co-direct under the name the Sanderin Brothers. Bry is a white guy. I'm a black dude, and it's like a salt and pepper team who's out here writing and directing and creating. So it's kind of a very unique thing. We call ourselves the Sanderin Brothers, and Bry Thomas Sanders is an amazing director, cinematographer, and yes, he shoots beautiful stuff.
Yeah, that movie, it was only a couple years ago too, so again, my brain doesn't work that well, so I can remember that far back. That wasn't long ago at all. So I was really happy. Everything you bring to us is quality, but I have to say every film that you come out with just grows in the scope, and it's I don't want to say professionalism, because you're always working professionally, but it's just every film you bring to us is, you raise the bar on yourself, which is what I like to see. And I think,
well, yeah, you know what? I'd like to think I'm a lifelong learner, and I haven't done. I'm not done learning. I'm not done growing, and so we try to do things over different genres, and so. Whenever we bring something to you, hopefully it's of quality. Hopefully, everything we do as artists, we believe is of quality. And we've worked very hard, both and we'll talk about it in our learning, in our education, in our training, in order to bring professional work.
Sure.
So it's an honor to be able to keep bringing up stuff that is appreciated. And I know a lot of times, you have a board, they look at it, and so you're not necessarily putting your thumb on the scale of a lot of stuff. So the fact that we keep getting recognized means that, we're being appreciated, not just by the festival director going, put this in, but by other folks going, okay, yes, this is good.
Yeah.
And so that as an artist feels good, and it makes us go, okay, we there's a standard that we have to maintain, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the fact is, I do know that the people are gatekeepers. The first people that look at the films, I don't look at the films until very late in the process, because my job is to be liaison between the festival and our very well-known grand jury. And so I look at the highest marks, and then I look at those films. I don't see everything. But then I choose 5 from each category, let's say, and send them off to the grand jury so that they can do their voting as well. But we have people who are just independent film lovers, who are some of them are our volunteers, what we call our ambassadors. They're really into it, and they will remember too if you were at the festival and you had something that was a good movie and they liked it, and they'll say, oh, they brought us another movie. And so they do kind of give it a little more scrutiny, just because they're crossing their fingers and hoping the new film is good. But they've turned down some alumni filmmakers in the past, but I don't think you've ever been turned down with a film. I don't.
Well, I don't know. With the film, I've been turned down in a bar because I hit on these women. So I'm glad I did get turned down for the festival, because I get so much. I always say I'm an actor and the male. Yeah. So I hear no all the time, and it kind of rolls off my back like water off of a duck. Right. Because if you want to be an artist, if you want to be in this industry, you're going to hear the word no, and that's okay. You just keep going. You submit someplace else. You believe in your work, and it will land where it is supposed to land.
Sure. Yeah. I like to start off my interviews by, already you've given me a little bit of background into your Idlewild connection and where you went to college and all that. But you're originally, I guess, if I remember correctly, born in Pennsylvania, but you studied in the Chicago area at some point.
Well, so I'll give you a quick, Reader's Digest thing. I was born in State College, Pennsylvania. My dad was a professor, my mom a chemical engineer, but my dad also did community theater. And so, like I said, I was on the stage with him since I was about 4.
Sure.
Doing community theater in and around State College, Pennsylvania. Went to high school outside Chicago, a place called Lake Forest Academy, where I continued to do theater and did a little bit of background work, that type of thing. And then went to college out here in Southern California, I said at Pomona. And once my dad got a job at the Urban League in San Diego. And so once I came out here and felt that sun on my face in January, I said, I'm never going back to anywhere that's cold. And if I'm never cold again, it will be too soon.
Yeah.
So I got a film studies degree at Pomona, which I created. And I said, you know what? I want to become a better actor. I had always acted, and I was good. I was pretty good. And then I go, you know what? Let me try to get better. And so I applied and got into University of California, Irvine, their master's program. And between you and I think the master's program at Irvine is, tantamount to the Yale drama program. I always say that Irvine is the Yale of the West Coast. So I went to school with some amazing actors, and I would look around. I'm like, damn, they're good. I got to raise my game. So so let me go ahead and start memorizing these lines. So that's kind of my trajectory out to Southern California.
Yeah, I mean, acting is, man, every time I talk to you, I mean, you have the same passion for acting that like Willie Mays or Ted Williams had for hitting. You know what I mean? It's it's like a thing that you are obsessed with. And but you're not freakish about it or anything. But it's
no. But see, the thing about it is for me, after all this time and putting in the work, it's also it's an art form, it's a passion, but it's also my vocation. It's what I do. It's my job, and I chose it and studied it and tried to get good at it because I was passionate about it. It's no different than a lawyer who goes to law school because they have a love and a passion for the law. It's no different than a doctor who goes, look, I'm gonna go to medical school, then do my interns, then do my residency. It's really no different than people who are passionate in their other fields that decide to study and get good and go after their passion. I have been, knock on wood, blessed and lucky, the same way a lawyer is blessed and lucky that their passion to be a lawyer eventually made them a partner. My passion for acting and going to school eventually gave me a 32-year career here in film and television. So, yeah, this is, I say to folks, this is not my hobby.
That's it.
And because I'm from Central Pennsylvania, I have a 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week work ethic. And if this is my job, this is my passion, I need to put 40 hours a week into my vocation. And so that can be watching movies, that can be going to the gym to stay in shape, that can be creating my own stuff, that can be reading scripts because I have to audition for them, that could be watching the television shows so I understand the tone and the tenor of the performances. And all that falls under the 8 hours a day, 40 days, 40 hours a week, times, 44 weeks a year. It's a job. And so I always say, there's laws of physics that I use on my behalf. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. And if you put in 8 hours a day times 40 hours a week times 4, you can't help but succeed to a certain degree, to get better. And I've just tried to use that philosophy for the past, 32 years. This is my job. I put in my time, I put in my work. And just like Willie Mays, all those, I'm in the batting cages. Just like a professional basketball player will do his free throws before the game. They're not like, oh man, why do I have to do this free throw? No, you go back to the basics. You do your free throws. You do all that. Because when the pressure comes at the end of the game, you know that you're going to hit that free throw. It's not like, hey, I did free throws in my first season. I'm in season 10. I don't need to do free throws. No. Do your free throws before, do your practice, and then let's play the game.
Your career has always just been interesting to me. You, one time I was on the Paramount lot and you were working on a Nickelodeon show. What was that? I went in there and I went, this guy, it's a kid show, and he's in there. I mean, you were giving it everything you had, and this character that you had come up with.
I think you might have come to see when I was doing Night Squad.
Night Squad, yeah.
And I was playing Sir Gareth.
It was
the thing
awesome.
About the kid, the thing about the kid shows that are kind of funny. As an adult, they can beat you up. They throw you in slime. They hit you with they put you down slides.
Right.
And the funny thing is, the kids can only work for so many hours. So they'll bring me in the morning. The kids will shoot a lot of their stuff. I'll sit in my trailer, do some, and then they'll have me. So I like sandwich. I bookend the days. And so it's my job to make sure that as much energy as I bring in on the first shot of the day, I bring in on the last shot of the day.
Right. But I was just thinking to myself as I'm watching, it was funny because I just texted you. I'm on the Paramount lot all day today, and you want to grab lunch? And you go, well, I'm shooting. Why don't you come over? And I went, as I'm watching you, I'm standing back watching this kid show being taped on a soundstage. And I'm like, this guy's a highly trained actor, and he's giving as much to this as he would Shakespeare. And I went, good.
Well, I mean, again, wherever I'm at in the moment, it is my job to honor what the writers have done.
Right.
It's my job to honor the other actors. It's my job to make sure that, if I don't give it my all, then the writers won't know what works. The actors won't know what beats, are working. And so it's, again, this is just kind of part of my job. The same way you wouldn't want your lawyer to half-ass it when they're talking about your assets and your will and your trust. There's really no reason to half-ass your job.
Yeah.
Especially if you have if it's a job that you love. It's like, hey man, I'm trying to keep this job.
Sure. Yeah. That's another thing. Yeah. There was no calling it in for you for sure. But you've done something. You've done major TV series.
Yeah, like I said, I did Drew Carey's show for years.
Yep.
I did Seinfeld, ER. I did a TV show for years called One on One. It's funny because a lot of white folks know me from Drew Carey shows, Seinfeld, Mad About You. A lot of black folks know me from One on One, Parenthood, Between Brothers. Right. So I kind of cross over. But the through line is doing your work. The through line is honoring the work of the writers, honoring the other actors who are there, putting in their work. So that to me is the through line, and that's why I try to went and got trained, and I take what I do, seriously. Yeah. There's other parts of my life, I like to party, I like the lady, I like to do all that, but when I'm on set and when I'm doing my job and when I'm sitting down and writing, that's my job. And when I don't, put 100% into, my job, because Kelly Perine is the CEO of Kelly Perine and Kelly Perine's acting career. And when I don't put 100% into it, that takes food out of my mouth and money out of my pocket. So I better go ahead and take it seriously and not phone it in.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about relationships with agents and with casting directors. And a lot of actors come to LA and they don't realize how important these relationships are. Getting to know casting directors is a really important thing. But would you say that I know most of your indie projects, you have developed them on your own with your partners, but when it comes to, like Seinfeld, let's just say, that obviously probably went through your representative, am I correct? Sure. How much of that, of your TV, what percentage would you say you book yourself because the casting director and, you go through your agent as a courtesy, but...
Well, the thing about it is, it's that this is how the industry works. And when I got out of school, I did a showcase, which got me a manager. And then my manager, got me, my agent. And then my agent sent me out for stuff, which then put you in front of casting directors. And so when you get in front of casting directors, make strong choices. Because the thing about, people that don't quite get about casting directors are hired as well. And they're hired by the production to bring in good people. So you help out the casting director when you are good at what you do. The same way up in Idlewild, when I come back, like, oh, I remember you from this movie. I remember you from this movie. I remember you from this movie. Casting directors remember you because, oh, I remember when you came in for this show. You didn't get it because I remember when you came in for this show. And you each time came in with strong, dedicated choices because that helps their job. They get paid to bring in great people. An actor's job is to be great. And I always say to, kids, I always go back to Irvine and I talk to the kids. I go, you are here to become, you were good when you got here. When you leave here, hopefully you are great. Then when you get out there, get even better.
Sure.
So the relationship you have with your casting director, with your agent, with your manager comes out of you being good at what you do. That's what starts everything. That's why people, are attracted to you. That's why people come and go, hey, who are you represented by? Hey, who are you? And then when you go out and you do a great audition, the casting director will call back to your agent and go, hey, man, yeah, they really did a good job. They went a different way, but we're going to bring them back in because casting directors remember. They remember who does well, who comes in, because again, they get paid, they get hired and rehired by bringing in great people.
Sure.
So you as an actor, get yourself to a point where you're great and you're also not afraid of them. When you're good at what you do, there's no longer walking into the room with a sense of fear, this sense of, oh, they're gonna find me out. This imposter syndrome or fear of getting found out kills creativity, kills actors, kills artists.
Mm-hmm.
So part of why I went to grad schools and I wanted to get good and wanted to get better is because I didn't want to have any of those woulda, shoulda, coulda doubts that I have seen repeatedly kill really, really good actors.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so get to a point where and I also believe that I, as an actor, as a professional, as a master of my craft, I believe I'm a problem solver. Because when you walk into a casting, and there's producers and directors, I look around the room and I go, okay, everybody in here is scared.
Mm-hmm.
The producer is afraid that they're not going to have a movie that's going to be a hit. The director is afraid that they're not going to find the right people. The casting directors are afraid that they didn't bring in the right people. Everybody's afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk in there and I go, this is what I talked about earlier about your shoulders dropping. I walk in there and go, I might not get this part, but I will walk out of here and you will go, oh, okay, at least we have a choice. At least we have somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I, as an actor, am an actor. I love it, but I'm also a problem solver. I'm like, is your problem that you don't know if you're going to have somebody who's going to say these 6 lines great? Well, all right. Well, let me take that problem off of your mind. So that's kind of, part of the philosophy. I work a lot with philosophies. I've done my studying. I've done my work. I make strong choices, but I also work with a lot of philosophies about expecting to succeed. And when I walk into a casting, I have read the script, I have made strong choices. And sometimes, back in the days when you used to go into the room, they would go, hey, do you have any questions? And I would say, you know what, let me just go ahead and hit it this way. I've been working on it. And if you have any adjustments, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And that both shows that you can make strong choices and you are directable. Because if you can then take their adjustments and hit them and give it to them, then that shows you are directable. And the reason, again, I keep going back to it, why I studied and tried to get good is because I have arrows in the quiver. I'm not just a one-trick pony.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like being an athlete at the end of the game, and they all huddle up, they're like, we need 2 points. I'm like, coach, how do you need the 2 points? Do you want me to dribble and shoot? Do you want me to dribble and pass? Do you want me to dribble and try to, take a charge? Try to, get to the free throw line? Do you want me to stop and pop? When you have arrows in the quiver and you are not afraid that you're a one-trick pony because you've trained and know your craft, you can walk into the room with some sort of confidence. And if you don't get it, cool. Meet your friends at a bar, have a drink, and, tomorrow there's another audition.
For over 70 years, the historic Rustic Theater and Entertainment Center in Idlewild, California, has been the home for movies and live events for all of the communities that encompass the San Jacinto mountain range. And as the forever home of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, the Rustic has played host to some of the greatest indie films from around the world, as well as blockbuster first-run movies and music and comedy events. And the Idlewild Festival has been proud to call the Rustic its home base since 2010. So, whether you're in Idlewild for the film festival, hiking or rock climbing, or just exploring the beautiful mountain village of Idlewild, California, make sure to add the Rustic Theater to your list of must-visit spots. For a beer or fine wine at the Rustic Tavern, a tasty meal from the snack bar, or just a great movie date or family night out, the Rustic Theater and Entertainment Center is the right choice in Idlewild. Pop in and say hello.
No small mountain village would be complete without its favorite local breakfast spot. And the Red Kettle restaurant in Idlewild, California is just that place. As Idlewild's premier downtown breakfast and lunch restaurant, the Red Kettle is exactly what you'd expect. Great food, friendly service, and quaint small town charm, the Red Kettle is the heart of Idlewild's village life. And as an official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, all festival badge wearers are treated to a 10% discount on every order. The Red Kettle Restaurant, Idlewild, California. Home-style cooking all year round.
Going for a hike and just want the best beef or vegan jerky on the planet before you hit the trail? Then Coyote Red's Idlewild, California is where your search comes to an end. We offer a variety of premier natural foods, including our world-famous House of Jerky brand, barbecue sauces, hot sauces, treats, sweets, and so much more. An official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema, we are located right downtown at the Fort, directly across from Idlewild Park. Coyote Red's is where your search for the best beef or vegan jerky on the planet comes to an end.
It's cool, it's hip, and it's where Idlewild goes for burgers, fries, sub sandwiches, ice cream, and more. Atomic Cow, downtown Idlewild, California. Official sponsor of the Idlewild International Festival of Cinema. Fast, fierce, and filmmaker friendly. Be there or be square. Atomic Cow.
Right. Yeah, that is funny. It's like, your analogies are great, though. I've always said the same thing. An actor should show up with something chambered, you know. But that's, to get to a point, it comes back to this. I was telling Janel Tanna, who is my first guest today, she's an actor in New York and doing a lot of television as well. And as a director, taped auditions have been a good and a bad thing for me. And then we'll talk about how they are for you as an actor. But they've allowed my producers and me, you know, a much bigger, you know, kind of vision of who we, you know, more actors to get our eyes on from around the world, actually. But at the same time, it doesn't allow me, when somebody is doing a first take, their first idea on what the character should be, I can't adjust them, which would help them. So that adds another process to it, which is then I have to talk to them, get them to get on a Zoom call, and then go over the whole thing again so that I can give them some adjustments and some direction. But how is a taped audition thing, you know, have you found that transition from auditioning in a room and the taped audition thing, how has that been for you?
Yeah, as I said earlier, when you get into the room, you have a chance to get directed. Hey, they're in the moment. Mm-hmm. Hey, try it this way, do it this way. And that was fantastic. And I was really good in the room because, again, I had made my strong choices. I had arrows in the quiver, and I'm directable. Mm-hmm. Now with what's going on with self-tapes, again, I go back to, you have to go ahead and make your strong choices. And you can't make middle-of-the-road choices because you're afraid that it might not be what they want. And like you were saying, you have to call them back. If they get a call from you, if they get you spending your time calling them and trying to redirect them or do whatever, that's a blessing. Mm-hmm. Because you don't do that with everybody.
Sure.
And you get that because you saw something in their self-tape that made you go, I want to see if this person can do it this way or this way or this way. So when I get a call, about being redirected, I love it.
Sure.
Because it means that there's something I did in that first take where I trusted my instinct that got me this call. There's so many actors that do a middle of the road reading because they're afraid they're going to be wrong. That is just kind of milquetoast. You can't read people's minds. So you might as well trust your instincts and make strong choices. And then go on to the next audition. Make strong, justified choices based on the fact that you read the script, you understand the character, you watched the show, you understand the tone, you understand the beats, you understand what's going on. So you give yourself an understanding. Mm-hmm. Study.
Mm-hmm.
Study what you're auditioning for. Study. I know too many actors that are lazy. Just to be straightforward and honest, I know too many lazy actors, and I know too many scared actors.
Mm-hmm.
And a combination of scared and lazy is going to kill you. And they wonder why. Oh, I don't know why I'm not getting work. I'm like, you want me to tell you? Well, fuck you, Kelly. You're an asshole. I'm like, okay, but I'm going to be on set tomorrow.
Yeah. You've obviously taught acting. I mean, it just you've got that some of the like Meryl Streep once said that she's taught classes and learned so much about herself as an actor by teaching other actors. And how much of that is something you really enjoy, going out and teaching?
Well, you know what, I taught. When I was at Irvine,
Mm-hmm.
As a graduate, I taught the undergraduates.
Mm-hmm.
I do more of these type of like lectures or, ideas about, philosophies as how you take them into the industry than I do quote unquote teaching,
Mm-hmm.
because teaching is trying to develop, kids. Okay, here's a contentless scene.
Mm-hmm.
Your lines are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And at the end of them, I want you to get them to understand that, that's not necessarily what it is that I do. I know some amazing acting teachers. A great friend of mine that I knew when I went to the Claremont colleges, Joe Reitman, who, if anybody out there is looking for, an acting coach, he does Zoom and stuff like that, is an amazing teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands how to bring out from people, their acting chops.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a teacher. I'm not necessarily a teacher as much as, if I explain some of these philosophies and you decide, or a person decides to pick up on them and go, you know what? I never thought about my acting as a job as well.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about a 8-hour day, or I never thought about myself as the CEO of my acting career.
Right.
And so if you listen back to the interview, a lot of it is philosophical about how actors can look at themselves and their careers and move them forward. So I guess in some ways that could make me a teacher, quote unquote teacher, but I don't necessarily, get 12 kids, around a semicircle and talk to them about, hey, you come up and do your Shakespeare. Let me critique it. You come up and do your, Brecht and let me teach it. That's not necessarily what I do. I mean, I could do it. But again, I think my quote unquote teaching comes through, kind of teaching or explaining some philosophical things that have helped me kind of get to where I am and sustain a 32-year career. Because today, this interview is part of my 8-hour workday.
Mm-hmm.
After this, I will sit down and work on my next short film. After that, I'll go to the gym. After that, I'll watch some television. So what's the new stuff that's coming out?
Yeah.
So that to me is kind of teaching, getting people to look at some things differently than they otherwise had or would have.
Mm-hmm. It's different it's like, it was funny. I took on a job. I was teaching first-year directors at the American Film Institute, and somebody approached me and asked me if I would be willing to jump over to the Screen Actors Guild Conservatory and teach a class that they had started called Acting for the Camera, and that became Acting for the Director. It was just an interesting thing where actors were realizing they'd done a lot of stage work in high school or whatever, but they were realizing that it's a different animal. Any kind of stage work is just, the mechanics are kind of the same, but then that ends and there's a whole different approach to it. But
I would say this about, because obviously I came up in the stage, and when I was going to grad school, I did everything from, Shakespeare to Brecht to Fugard.
Mm-hmm.
I did everything from Three Penny Opera to Romeo and Juliet to West Side Story to Statements After an Arrest under Immorality Act, A Good Woman of Szechuan. So I came up through the theater, and and did voice and speech work where you have to try to make sure the people in the back
hit
can
that
hear,
60th row.
and you have to enunciate.
Right.
And then you get to Hollywood and you understand that, you go, okay, hey.
Yeah.
The mic is right there.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, and I had to tell the actors at the SAG Conservatory, though, that I can't teach acting. That's not what I do. I can teach you how to. What is it that I teach? I was teaching from Michael Caine's book on the same subject, and he said there's two performances you get in your movies, which one is your performance and the other is the editor's performance, because you've made bonehead moves and they've had to fix it in the edit, and you don't want that. You want to make sure he says that he knows after every take which take is they wrap a scene, he knows which take they're going to use of which shots, and
I mean that's Michael Caine. That's the top of the top of the top. But I will say this about acting for the stage and acting for for film and television. Some of the internal work is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding a character's through line, where they're trying to go. Like I said, when I worked with a guy named Robert Cohen, fantastic, acting teacher rest in peace. And, he was like the creator of the vote system. What is your victory? What is your obstacle? What is your tactic? What is your evaluation?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care if you're reading a play and you're going to have to say it like this, or you're reading a script and the microphone's right there and you have to say it like this.
Yeah.
The internal work of what the actor is trying to do, what the character is trying to do in that moment, who's with them in the scene, what are they doing, what are they trying to get? That is some of the same work. Mm-hmm. Now, whether or not you have to project so that someone in the back of the theater can hear you, or you can be very, very quiet and intentional because the microphone is 6 inches above your head, the internal work can be the same. So if there's any actors out there that are listening that are like, well, what's the transition between the films? It's more or less just get quieter or get louder. In terms of just technique, get quieter or get louder. The technique, in terms of internal work of the character, can be translated. So if you're, I'm not good at film, I'm not good at stage, well, get good at understanding what your character wants. And that's the same with when you have your sides and you only have 3 pages and read all the stuff before, read your other characters' lines, even though it's crossed out, read the stuff that came before, so that it informs, so you understand where your character starts. And so it's the same as if someone, you're taking your cue line because you're on stage, or the director goes, and action.
Yeah.
You have to know where you're coming, because a lot of times too in film and television they shoot out of order. So you better know the script. You better have made some choices. You better have figured that out. So, like I said, I've done both. The past 30 years have been more film and television, but my upbringing was stage, and I respect stage. People that can do 8 shows a week.
Oh, sure, yeah, it's crazy.
God bless them.
Yeah, when you talk, I mean, I every time I talk to you, I learn something. And I have to learn about. I have to learn from actors. Because learning, I'm always studying screenwriting and why I like this as opposed to that. That's more of an inward and internal study. But when I listen to actors like you, it's just crazy how much I pick up from actors.
I would say every actor or every director who's out there listening, just take an acting class. Take one acting class so you can kind of understand a little bit of how the actor's brain works. I also now write and produce and direct.
Yeah.
And obviously it's fantastic that the director has a good, strong vision. And they should. That being said, you also understand that actors have egos, and there are ways, and again, techniques for the director to massage that ego. If it's everything from just, even if the director knows what they're going to use, if it's just one extra take where they go, okay, do what you feel, do what you want. They may not use it, but the 1 minute for that take will save you 2 hours of trying to talk that actor off of a ledge.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I've kicked really famous actors off my sets just because they were on. But for the most part, no matter how big an actor name you're working with, they want to be directed. They want to know there's a captain in charge, and they're like, help me give you the best that I can, and that's what I appreciate about actors.
Yeah, look, like I said, watch a championship, team. Watching when it comes down to it, they come to the sideline, and the coach draws up the play. The star doesn't stand out there by themselves and go, once you guys get your direction, come out to me. No.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody comes to the sideline. The coach draws up the play.
You and I and our sports analogies.
Yeah. I mean, I love sports because I love, I grew up, I played soccer, I wrestled, played baseball. So soccer and baseball are the team sports. I love team sports. I love collaboration. I've always said that I'm come from the Little Rascals school of collaboration. It's like, oh, your dad has a barn. Oh, well, my mom can make the costumes. Oh, well, when you do this, hey, let's put on a play. And if everybody has that same joy of, hey, like the Little Rascals, hey, let's put on a play. Let's do it. And so I kind of I kind of have that joy. I sit around the table read, and I look around, I'm like, how fucking great is this?
Right.
Some people are working in an office and the hum of the fluorescent lights are killing them. Look at what we're doing.
Right.
How fucking great is this?
Well, this has been a blast, my friend. I'm so glad I was finally able to get you on the podcast. But you're just amazing, dude.
I'm here. I can't lie. I love what I do.
Yeah, it's obvious. And before we let you go, I want you to tell the audience who want to keep up with your career. Is there a website or a social media? What's the best way of...
if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's ITSKELLYPERINE. It's Kelly Perine.
Perfect.
And that's me on Instagram. You can catch me on Facebook. I'm not huge on the social media. That's something that, I got to get better at. I'm 57. And so all you kids with your technology, I'm like, oh my God. God bless you. I'm trying to get better. That's something I have to learn.
Well,
and I'm in the process of learning. I'm a lifelong learner.
Right.
But you can catch me on It's Kelly Perine. You can also go to kellyperine.com and you can see a number of my short films. You can see my bio, my resume,
right,
all that. So between It's Kelly Perine on Instagram and kellyperine.com on the interwebs, you can catch me there. I'm really not trying to hide from anything. I'm not trying to hide from Hollywood.
Right. I'm a hider. I don't have social media. I do have the film festival social media everywhere, but my personal stuff. But as
if you don't think that having a podcast means that you're not a hider, okay, whatever.
Well,
whatever, brah.
Yeah, my studio's a sanctuary, so.
Yeah, well,
that about wraps it up for this episode of the Stephen Savage Show. I want to thank Kelly Perine once again for coming on today. I'd also like to thank my producer, Nicole Hughes Bradshaw, executive producer Steve Tuma, my engineer, Maurice Sudo, and all here at the Savage Podcasting Network for keeping things running so smoothly here at Cranium Wheel Studios. So, and I'd like to thank all of you for downloading and listening to the show, which helps us keep our numbers way up there on all platforms. So, for the beautiful and talented Janel Tanna, the always interesting Kelly Perine, as well as myself, have a great week ahead, and we will see you next time. Thanks again, Kelly.
Of course. Everybody have a great day.